Mic check, one. Hello, good afternoon everyone. Sa mga participant natin today, so we will start at exactly 2 p.m. Philippine time. So 5 minutes from now, we will start our webinar for Canada Temporary Foreign Worker Program po. So ayon, and for tourist visa rin po. So if you want to visit your family in Canada, I'll discuss about how to process the tourist visa also. And of course, if you want to work directly in Canada, definitely we can help you by processing the foreign worker program po, or temporary foreign worker program in Canada. So see you at 2 p.m. Hi, good afternoon, everyone from the viewers from TikTok. Good afternoon from the Philippines. So, as I mentioned, I will start my free webinar about the temporary foreign worker and the tourist visa bound to Canada. So, if you're interested, if you want to directly work in Canada and you want to visit your relatives in Canada, definitely you should tune in on our free live webinar about the temporary foreign worker and the tourist visa going to Canada. So before I formally start, let me introduce myself. My name is Rainiel Del Rio, and I'm the Client Acquisition Manager here at Roman and Associates Immigration Services. So to give you an idea, we're currently live at our Zoom and our TikTok account. So if you have a question or clarification, I will try to read all your queries here in our TikTok and of course in Zoom. For the viewers in Zoom, I'll try to answer all your questions later po. So let me start with let me introduce our licensed Canadian immigration. We have Sir Israel Roman. As I mentioned, is a licensed Canadian immigration consultant registered with the College of Immigration and Citizenship Consultants. So currently, he's an active registered nurse in Canada as of the moment. And before he moves to Canada, he used to work as a nursing professor here in the Philippines po. So our own licensed immigration consultant slash our owner of our company. And of course, our offices is located at our main office is located at 6057 Dumont Road in Nanaimo, British Columbia. Here in the Philippines, our satellite office is located at City Sleep Inn Hotel and Event Center, Lipa City, Batangas po. So if you want to visit our company for the viewers here in the Philippines, you can always visit us from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. po. We're open. Our company is open from Monday to Friday po. So, but if you want to schedule your meetings with us, definitely you can email us and later I will flash our email so you can directly email us. And of course, ayan, how to know if my consultant is legitimate. Of course, the first thing we need to know is our company that will be entering is legitimate. So this is the process on how to know if your consultant is legitimate. The first one is you can visit the college/ic.ca. Just go to that website, flash on your screen, as you can see. And then, of course, after going to that website, just click the Find an Immigration Consultant. So after finding an immigration consultant, you just simply type his license identification number. So as I mentioned, our own immigration consultant is, the license number is R524540. And of course, after searching the consultant, the status should be active. So the name should be there, the status should be active, and the contact and consultant identification number. So that's one thing to know if your consultant is legitimate po. And of course, for our main topic today, so I'll be discussing, as I mentioned, the temporary foreign worker program in Canada. So for all the viewers who want to migrate to Canada and to work in Canada, definitely you should tune in, as I mentioned a while ago. So of course, what is temporary foreign worker program? So temporary foreign worker program, or TFW, uh, allows Canadian employer to hire foreign workers to fill temporary jobs when qualified Canadians are not available po. And of course, this program is regulated through the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act and the Immigration and Refugee Protection Regulation, and is administered in partnership with Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, and the Canada Border Services Agency, or CBSA po. So for the viewers in TikTok, pasensya na po, may malfunction lang sa aming projector, pero I'll try to fix it para at least makita po natin. So wait lang po. So wait lang po. Sorry po for technical difficulties. Mhm. Ayan. So, ayan. So, ayan, pasensya na po dahil live tayo, hindi natin maano yung mga errors from our ayan. So let me start again for our temporary foreign worker. So for the first participant here in Zoom, so if you have a question or clarification, definitely you can chat on our chat box your question and I'll try to answer all your queries po. And of course, so in our company, Romanian Associates Immigration Services, we have available works for you. So if you're qualified on this specific program, definitely you can send us your resume and we will contact you after we see if you're eligible on that specific position. The first position we have is we have the food service worker, we have the fish processor, we have the production line worker, and lastly, we have the caregiver po. So, before I proceed, ayan, may mga nag-question po from our TikTok how to apply. So later po, we will flash our email so you can send your detailed resume so we can assess if you're eligible on that specific program po. And of course, ayan. Sino nga po ba yung mga eligible for this said positions po? So the first one is at least high school graduate lang po and at least 1 year related experience for the past 3 years po. So with regarding sa food service worker, fish processor, and and production line worker, if you're at least high school graduate and you have 1 year related experience, definitely you're eligible to apply for this specific position po. But baka may magtanong sa amin, sir, what if wala po akong related experience? However, I'm willing to get an NC2 certificate for food processing. So definitely that's one point, or you're eligible even though you don't have experience, but you will get an NC2 certificate. You're eligible to apply for that said position po. And of course, ayan, for the documentary requirement, we always get your school records. And of course, dahil you will be applying for temporary foreign worker, we will get your work and training certificates po. So work po, let's say you're working as a fish processor, a food service worker, or production line worker. If you're currently working on that specific line of work, so definitely you have your COA, you have your training certificate, and as I mentioned, another training certificate is an NC2 certificate. If you have an NC2 certificate for food processing, as I mentioned, you're eligible to apply for this specific position po. And of course, what is the process here in our company? So Romanian Associates Immigration Services, we have a process, of course. So the first one is we have a free assessment. As I mentioned a while ago, I will flash our email later so you can send your updated resume. So the first process is we have the assessment. After we assess and you're eligible, definitely we will call you. And after that, you have the interview. So question, sino nga po ba mag-i-interview? Definitely not, hindi po kami mag-i-interview sa inyo, but the Canadian employer po. So we have different interviews for food service, fish processor, and production line worker. So for food service worker, we have 3 sets of interview. We have the screening interview, initial interview, and final interview. So the screening interview we will conduct it. However, the initial and final interview will be conducted po by the Canadian employer po. For the fish processor naman po, the interview will be conducted by our own immigration consultant po. We will assess if you're qualified for that specific position po. For production line worker, we have one interview, and that's the Canadian employer, or that's the hiring manager of the said company po. And of course, after the interview, after you pass all the interviews, we will require you to submit your immigration documents po. With regarding sa immigration documents, don't you worry, because Roman and Associates Immigration Services will help you on collecting and gathering all the documents you need po. So with regarding sa documentation po, hindi na naman po kayo magkaka-problem, because we will make sure that your process here in our company will be 100% smooth, free, or error free po. And of course, after that, we have the LMIA application. So for the LMIA application, or the Labor Market Impact Assessment application, of course, the company, sila po yung maghahandle or magsasubmit ng document nyo for LMIA application. And after that, after the LMIA application and lumabas na po yung result, that's the time we will process your work permit application in Canada. So as I mentioned, in temporary foreign worker po, we will provide the employer. We will help you to gather all the documents you need, and we will assist you in every details na kailangan niyo po malaman. And to give you an idea, for temporary foreign worker po, the average processing time po nito could take at least a year po, or 1 year po. Baka may magtanong sa amin, sir, bakit naman 1 year? Kasi technically, as I mentioned, maraming process pa po yung kailangan natin ayusin dito. After the interview, saka pa natin ayusin yung mga work permit application, LMIA application, yun po. Kaya possible abutin ng 1 year. So as I mentioned, possible kasi definitely, pwede siyang mas mapatagal, pwede siyang mas mapaikli po. So on our part, we want it na mas maikli para of course mas mabilis yung process po natin, and mas mapalipad po namin kay Canada ng mas maaga po. And of course, ayun, after knowing the process po of the food service worker, if you have any question po, for example, ito, we have a question here from TikTok. How much po yung possible processing? Ito po, ma'am, later I will flash our email so we can assess if you're eligible. And on that email, if you're eligible, nakalagay na po dun yung breakdown kung magkano nga po ba yung possible cost po niya. So, kayo po ang maghahanap ng work. So, as I mentioned from the viewers from TikTok, ma'am, we already have 3 available jobs na waiting po. So, ayun, iniintay na lang po namin yung possible interviews ni employer, and pag nakapasa po kayo, that's the time that we will process all the documents po. So, before I proceed with the tourist visa, any question po from the viewers from TikTok? Actually, marami pong viewers namin from TikTok. So if you have any question po, pwede po kayong mag-comment dito sa TikTok namin, and I'll try to answer all your inquiries po. And of course, sa viewers namin here from Zoom, so if you have a question po, you can type it on our chat box, and I'll try to answer all your question po. Ito, question. Food service, need ba ng fast food experiencer, former J1 3 times na nakapag-US for food service po? So ito po, ibabalik ko po kung sino nga po ba yung mga eligible on that set position, para at least yung mga bagong pasok pa lang sa TikTok namin is ma-view po nila to. So, wait lang po ayan. For the eligibility po ng mga applicant namin, so to answer your question, if you need experience, the experience we need for food service is at least 1 year related experience for the past 3 years po. So, ito po. For example po, may experience kayo kahit 1 year lang po sa fast food industry, pero medyo matagal na siya, let's say 5 years ago na yun. So, you're not eligible na po on that specific position. Why? Kasi at least past 3 years po yung kailangan po namin. So, ayan, I hope I answer your question po, ma'am. So my question is about common law partner in male and male. So ano po yung question niyo about the common law partner po male and male? So ilagay niyo na lang po dito sa chat box. So what are the initial requirements po? So ayan. So the requirements na kailangan naman talaga namin, the first thing is ito muna talaga, the process. So you need to pass the interview po muna. We need to know if you're eligible on that said position. And after knowing if you're eligible on that said position, we will line you up for the interview for Canadian employer po. And after passing all the interview, that's the time that we will require you to get your training certificate, yung mga COEs nyo po from your previous work po. And of course, school records, kakailanganin pa rin po namin. So, possible questions sa assessment. So sa assessment po, definitely magsasend lang kayo ng resume sa amin and we will assess if you're eligible on that specific position po. And then, sir, may FB page po kayo for legitimacy check. Yes, ma'am. We have our Facebook page po. You can follow us, Roman and Associates Immigration Services po. So you can look po doon sa aming page po, our Facebook page is Roman and Associates Immigration Services po. So LMIA application, yes, we process LMIA application din po. And technically, si employer po yung nagpo-process ng LMIA po. And may caregiver po ba hiring, sir? Ito, another question is for caregiver naman. So may caregiver po ba na hiring, sir? Currently po, we are processing caregiver pathway. However, we don't have readily available for the caregiver pathway. So, we encourage the applicant that kailangan muna nila magkaroon ng employer before applying for the caregiver pathway. Why? Because yung process po natin for caregiver pathways, hindi siya mag-move until wala po tayong employer po. So, sino nga po ba yung mga possible na employer po natin? Pwede po yung relatives in Canada, pero syempre may certain documents na ipapasend po kami. And of course, you can try to search your employer sa Job Bank Canada, nannyservice.ca. So maraming platform para makahanap po tayo ng employer for the caregiver po. One po process caregiver if for teaching po, as of the moment, wala po kaming readily available na work for teacher. But however, if ever na makakahanap po kayo ng direct employer nyo, we can process your documents po for temporary foreign worker po. So, para saang lugar yan? Good question po. So, para saang lugar yan? So, if ever dun sa mga available na work po namin, available po yung food service worker, fish processor and production line worker in British Columbia, Canada po. So, you will be migrating or you will be working in British Columbia, Canada specifically lang po. For housekeeping, wala pa po kami din. Nag-a-assist po kayo ng work permit? Yes po, we can assist for your work permit application po. If you have a direct employer in any work po, definitely we can help you po. And of course, gaano katagal ang process ng caregiver pathway if meron na pong employer? Ayan. Good question po. Gaano katagal yung process ng caregiver pathway if meron na pong employer? Let's say nag-start na po kayo and meron na po kayong employer. To give you an idea, paiba-iba po kasi talaga yung process kung gaano katagal for the caregiver pathway. As of the moment, the process could take at least 2 or 3 years po. Depende po sa immigration po kasi definitely sila yung nagbabago po ng pathway po na yan. Let's say, for the caregiver pathway, may employer ka na. Kasi for the caregiver pathway, you can bring your whole family na po with you. And yung permanent residency niyo po, kasama na po siya ina-apply. Kaya possible, ganun katagal yung processing time for the caregiver pathway. And may placement fee po ba? So definitely wala kaming placement fee. However, we have service fee. Why? Because we are the one who will provide your employer, the interview, and everything po. So yes po, we have a service fee po. As I mentioned, kung magkano yung service fee po namin, later, i-flash ko po yung aming email address so you can send your updated resume po para if you're eligible on that specific position, i-email po kayo ng eligibility email namin po. And makikita nyo po doon yung breakdown po namin kung magkano nga po ba siya. So, ayan. For environ, admin staff, clerk, for chef, as of the moment, wala pa po chef. So, ipa-flash ko lang rin po pala yung mga available jobs namin para sa mga kakapasok lang po. So, ayan. Ilipat ko lang po So, ayan. So, we have the food service worker. We have the fish processor. We have the production line worker and we have the caregiver pathway po. So yan po yung mga available namin. However, sa caregiver pathway po wala po kaming readily available employer for you. So, but if you have your own employer, definitely we can help you to process your documents for the caregiver pathway po. Ano po pathway to? So for this pathway po, this will be on temporary foreign worker po. So it's a direct work in Canada. And ayun. So care assistant, so definitely ito ay babagsak ng caregiver pathway. As I mentioned, wala po kaming readily available na employer. However, if you have your available employer, we can help you to process your caregiver pathway. Kakapasok ko lang po ano pong jobs at saan country po. Ayan, for kung saan country specifically, we are processing only for Canada and the province is British Columbia. So if you're eligible on this, food service worker, fish processor, and production line worker, you will be working po in British Columbia po. So factory worker. Kung factory worker po, siguro magpo-fall under kayo ng production line worker and fish processor po. So as I mentioned a while ago, inom lang po ako So as I mentioned a while ago, for the food service worker and production line, for fish processor and production line worker, the experience na kailangan namin is at least 1 year related experience for the past 3 years. However po, if you don't have your experience po for fish processor and production line worker and meron po kayong NC2 certificate for fish processing or food processing po, definitely you can apply on that specific position po. So, ayun po. So, pwede po bang 50 years old? Yes, ma'am. To give you an idea po, in Canada, wala naman pong age limit yan. So, you can apply kahit anong age nyo po. Pero syempre, the decision will be on immigration po, or immigration officer po na mag-handle po ng documents. How about office staff? Currently po, wala po kaming available for office staff in Canada. So, paano po pag walang mga experience? Ayan, paano po pag walang experience sa mga ganyang field? As I mentioned, you can get an NC2 certificate. It's either food processing or fish packing po. So, ayun po siya. And actually, sino nag-offer nun? Nag-browse na po kami yung mga previous applicant po namin. Sa TESDA po sila kumuha. Sa TESDA po sila nagpa-assess po. Pero to give you an idea, disclaimer lang, we're not partnered with TESDA po. So with regarding on getting your certificate, kayo po yung contact po sa kanila on how to get that specific certificate po. With regarding sa logistics, sorry po, wala po kaming available for it. Nag-aayos din po ba kayong tourist visa? Yes po! And actually, I'll be proceeding na po with our tourist visa. So, ma-flash ko po yung email address namin para at least, kung gusto niyo magtanong po, naka-flash na po yung email namin and pwede po kayo mag-send po sa amin. Sige po, before reading all this comment po, I'll discuss about the tourist visa po muna para ma-flash ko na din po yung email address po na. And of course, ayan, what is visitor's visa or tourist visa nga po in Canada? So to give you an idea, a visitor's visa is also called a temporary resident visa in Canada. It's an official document that Immigration of Canada take in your passport po. So it shows that you met the requirements needed to enter Canada po. So for the tourist visa, if you have a relatives in Canada or technically you want to visit Canada as a tourist, definitely you can apply for this specific visa po. So what is the documentary requirement for the tourist visa? So for the tourist visa po, ito po yung mga requirements na kailangan natin. I think kita naman po sa mga viewers namin from TikTok, kita naman po no, kung ano yung mga requirements for tourist visa. So the first one na kailangan po namin, if you have a relatives in Canada, definitely we need you to provide an invitation letter. Why? Mas malakas na laban po yan na mag-visit lang talaga kayo in Canada. If ever you have a relatives doon na magbibigay sa inyo or mag-sponsor sa inyo ng invitation letter po. And of course, proof of relationship to one invited you to Canada. So ano nga po ba yung relationship nyo dun sa nag-invite sa inyo sa Canada? It's either magkaibigan ba kayo, magpinsan ba kayo, or ano ba, BFF sa trabaho or what po. So kung ano man po relationship nyo, baka sabihin niyo sa akin, sir, hindi kasi kami magkadugo. Paano namin mapuprove na magkakilala kami o magkaibigan kami? So definitely kung magkaibigan kayo, I'm sure meron kayong mga photos together, travel together. Let's say 5 years ago, may selfie kayong dalawa. So yun po yung mga proof para malaman na you're connected with each other po. And of course, we have the travel history documents po. So, one thing na pampalakas din po yan ng documents natin. If you have a travel history po, not specifically in Canada po let's say you're a traveler talaga. Saan siya na nabulol na po. So, you're a traveler talaga. So, if talagang nag-visit kayo on different parts of the world. So, ayan, malaking laban din po yan na may mga stamp po yung passport natin. Let's say, Singapore, Thailand, or kung ano mang country po. And of course, after that, we need an updated passport for the next 6 months po. So, updated passport, why updated passport? Kasi syempre naman, possible po kasi for the tourist visa, ang tinatatak po kasi dyan ng immigration. But it depends pa rin po possible kasi 10 years na po yung matatak po sa atin. However, we cannot stay in Canada straight 10 years po So, with the discussion about that, siguro, if ever na you'll be emailing us na lang po. So after that, proof of means of financial support. So for the show money po yan. So for the tourist visa, of course, you need the show money for it. And immigration size photo, with regarding naman po dyan, don't you worry. We will assist you on getting your photos po or your specific size photos po. And of course, purpose of travel po. So ano nga po ba yung purpose of travel nyo? So we need your itinerary, your ticket po back and forth po. After that, your birth certificate. If you have your birth certificate, automatic you have your birth certificate, nire-request din po namin yan. And lastly, la letter to consult po. So letter to consult, it's a letter po from your relatives na bakit kayo ni-invite in Canada po. And i-address yan sa immigration ni Canada po. So ayun po siya. So sige po, before reading all your question po, ipa-flash ko na po yung email namin para sa mga viewers po namin. So, ayan po yung email namin. We have assessment@romancis.ca. So, if you think you're eligible on the said positions po, or you want to visit Canada, you can email us here at assessment@romancis.ca so we can check if you're eligible on that said position po. So, ayan. I-flash ko muna yung email namin, but I'll be answering all your queries po dito. Sige. Balikan ko po yung mga nag-iwan ko kanina. And for our viewers here in Zoom, if you have a question po, ma'am, you can directly post here on our chat box po, your question po. And I'll try to answer po lahat ng iyon. So, thank you so much po for all the viewers. And mag-start na po ulit ako magbasa. So, baker po, meron po ba? So as of the moment po, for the baker, we don't have readily available employer for the baker. So for factory, as I mentioned, pwede siyang mag-fall under sa fish processor and production line worker po. May age limit po ba? No po, we don't have any age limit. So production line worker, meron po bang available? Yes po, for production line worker, meron po. And ayan, just email us your updated resume at assessment@romancis.ca po. So we can check if you're eligible on that specific position. So ano po requirements sa caregiver? So the first requirement talaga namin for the care applicant namin ng caregiver is you need to have your employer first. We cannot give you a direct employer. As I mentioned, kung bagong pasok lang po kayo dito sa live namin, wala po kaming readily available position for the caregiver or wala kaming readily available na employer for the caregiver pathway. However, if you have your own employer for the caregiver pathway, definitely we can help you to process your caregiver pathway application. So office coordinator, wala po kaming office coordinator. Ayan, nag-ayos din po ba sila ng visit visa? Yes po, as in, kung narinig nyo kanina yung explanation ko for the tourist visa. So yes, we're processing po the tourist visa din po. So how about po NC2 baker bread and pastry? Pwede po ba mag-apply for factory worker? Pasensya na po for the fish processor and production line worker namin. Ang inaalaw po namin NC2 is at least the food processing and fish packing po. Maalin po sa dalawang yan. So ayun po yung NC2 na tinatanggap po namin. So tanong lang po sir, mas makakatipid po ba sa direct hire? Ano po ang itaten sa inyo? So ayan sir, as technically you need to send your detailed resume sa amin and we will assess if you're eligible on that specific position po. And if you're eligible on that specific position, you need to pass all your interviews muna. After passing all the interview, that's the time na we will collate all the documents na kailangan po namin. And we will gather all the immigration forms na kailangan po natin for the temporary foreign worker in Canada. Kung mas makakatipid, depende po kasi sa pathway po eh. Kung student pathway po, kung sa, i-compare niyo po siya for the student pathway, definitely yes po. Kasi for the student pathway, you need to have your proof funds, you need to have a huge amount of money for the school tuition fee. And of course, your living expenses pa po. So yun, marami tayong kailangan i-consider po. Pero it depends on the pathway po. Pwede mas makamura kayo sa student pathway, pwede mas makamura kayo sa direct work. So it depends po. Gaano po kalaki dapat ang proof of financial means? So if you're referring to tourist visa po, to give you an idea, dito po sa amin, may na-approve po kami na ang pinakita nilang proof of funds is 150,000 pesos. So, ayun, yung client po namin na yun is kakaalis lang niya last May. So, ayun po siya, 150,000 na-approve po siya. And sino nag-invite sa kanya? Yung anak niya po na nasa Canada din po. So, ayun po siya. Dapat ba i-send yung visa application kahit wala pang employer? Thank you po. So, the first thing, sir, is we need to have an employer po before the visa application. Kasi, the first thing talaga is kailangan natin magkameron tayo ng LMIA or LAMIA nga po before everything else po, before processing your visa application. Yes po, may RCIC number po kayo. Sige po, ibabalik ko po dun sa kanina naming slide para makita niyo po yung aming licensed immigration consultant. So pasensya na po sa mga bagong pasok dahil technically nag-start kami. Ayan, flash on your screen kung makikita niyo po, this is our RCIC number, R524540. For the viewers from TikTok, ito po, R524540. So you can check the legitimacy of our licensed immigration consultant. Dito rin po, tuturo ko po sa inyo kung paano. So, balik ko lang po. So, ito po. Just visit the college-ic.ca po and simply go to Find an Immigration Consultant. After going to that website, after clicking the Find Immigration Consultant, you just simply type our IC number, R524540 po. And of course, ano nga po ba yung lalabas dyan once na na-search po natin siya? Ito po, the name of our licensed immigration consultant, That's Roman Israel. And the status should be active. And consultant identification, kailangan indicated. So, ayan po, ang aming licensed immigration consultant. So, ito po. So, ma'am, say underscore B, how much the assistance of processing fee for visit visa? Ma'am, you can email us dito. So, ibalik ko na po dun sa assessment email namin para marami pong makakita. Kasi technically, nasa hundreds po yung nanonood sa atin. Para at least aware din sila kung saan nga bang email magsasend po sa amin. So, ayan. So, we have assessment@romancis.ca. To know more about kung magkano nga ba yung possible fees namin, kung eligible nga ba ako mag-apply for that specific pathway, just email us your resume at assessment@romancis.ca. So thank you, Ma'am C-_B. So saan po location ng office nyo? So our main office is located na talaga in British Columbia, Canada. However, our satellite office here in the Philippines is we're located here at Lipa City, Batangas po. So if you want to visit our office, we're open from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. po. So JP Laurel Highway, Barangay Sico, Lipa City, Batangas po. May age requirement po ba? So ayan, luckily in Canada, in any pathway po, wala pong age limit. Mapa-student pathway man yan, mapa-caregiver pathway, temporary foreign worker po, kahit ano pong pathway going to Canada, wala po silang age limit. Hello po, I'm currently in Denmark with the Canada. Process po pa kayo ng working? Yes po, Ma'am Kem Pamisan. Nagpo-process po kami ng work, however, we need to have your employer first. If you have an employer, we can process your your working pathway or working visa. May mga napalis na po kayo. Of course, sir, you can follow us on our Facebook page para makita niyo po yung mga LMI approved namin and yung mga client namin na currently working na po in Canada. Ayun po. So our Facebook page is Roman Associates Immigration Services po. You can follow us there po. Hello po, is this for the student pathway lang po ba? No po, ma'am. So, ito po ay for temporary foreign worker po. Nasa Macau po ako, saan po pwede mag-apply? So, ayan, just email us your resume po kasi technically that's the first thing na gagawin din naman po namin. We will get your resume and we will assess on that specific pathway kung saan kayo eligible. Ano pong name ng agency? So ito po, kung ano po yung name namin sa TikTok, yun po yung name ng agency po namin. Roman Associates Immigration Services po. Saan po office nyo, sir? As I mentioned, we're located here at Lipa City, Batangas po. And ask ko lang, pwede po ba isama buong pamilya ang mag-migrate? So depende po yan sa pathway na pipiliin nyo. If you're eyeing for the direct work po, definitely kung sinong primary siya lang po muna. However, if you're eyeing for the student pathway, definitely yes po, you can bring your whole family na po as long as kaya niyo po silang i-support lahat. Dahil for the student pathway, you'll need to have a proof of funds po. So proof of funds na yun, kung gaano kayo kadami, ganun din kalaki dapat yung proof of funds na kailangan po. Di po kayo nag-help maghanap ng employer, sir. So, ma'am, currently may mga available employer na po kami. However po, if hindi yun suits sa position or hindi yun gusto niyong work, definitely hindi na kami makaka-help sa paghanap ng other employer pa. So, for the sake of the viewers ngayon, ibabalik ko po kung ano nga po ba yung mga eligible work namin for this temporary foreign worker po. So, ito po siya. So, ayan. We have the food service worker, we have the fish processor, we have production line worker, and we have the caregiver pathway. So, ayan po yung mga readily available namin na may employer po kami. So I want to know more. So ayan, send lang po kayo ng resume po ng resume sa amin, assessment@romancis.ca. Sige, ipapapin ko po yung email namin dito sa comment section para at least malaman nyo, kahit ilipat ko, malalaman nyo. Ayan, pasensya na guys. So, ipapapin ko po yung yung email address namin sa comment section para at least makita niyo po yung email namin para kahit nililipat ko po yung slides is nababasa niyo po siya. So, wait lang po Need po ba na college graduate? No. For the eligibility, ito po, papakita ko po. Yan. So the question is, need po ba ng college graduate? The answer is no. If you want to work in Canada and on that specific position po yung ina-apply nyo, at least high school graduate lang po tayo. For the work experience naman, we need at least 1 year related experience for the past 3 years. However, as I mentioned a while ago during my discussion, if you don't have your related experience, but you have an NC2 for food processing and fish packing, yun po yung dalawang NC2 na tinatanggap po namin. If you have that kind of NC2 po, you're still eligible to apply on that specific position. Ayan, nakapin na po yung email address namin sa comment section. So, that's assessment@romancis.ca po. So, if you want to send your detailed resume or you need to send your detailed resume po dyan para ma-assess namin if you're eligible on that specific position po or pathway po. Hi sir, how po, hello, ano po available na work? As ko lang nag-work, visa na po ako last 2019 pero di po natulog na lang pwede para sa akin. So ma'am, hello. For working visa kayo dati, tapos hindi natuloy, ano po ang pwede? So ano pong pwede? So technically, you can still apply for student pathway, working pathway, kung eligible po kayo on that specific position po. So ayan po, mag-send lang po kayo ng email sa amin. I think naka-pin comment na po dyan. Ay, nawala ata yung pin comment na. Sige, wait lang po, inaayos po namin. Kaya makikita nyo dyan sa live, medyo shaky yung phone namin. Kasi currently, inaayos namin yung assessment email namin. Ayan, pin comment na po siya yung assessment namin. Ulit po, NC2 for free. Ayan, for the NC2 po, ang tinatanggap po namin NC2 is we have the food processing and fish packing po. If you have that certificate po and you don't have any related experience but you have NC2, pasok pa rin po kayo to apply. So, yun po. Paano po naman po walang experience po? Yan, as I mentioned, kung wala kayong experience, NC2 certificate. Agency ba kayo? For immigration services po, sir. Sa mga naghahanap po ng different work aside dun sa freelance namin, pasensya na po, yun pa lang po yung available work po namin. So we have the food service worker, fish processor, production line worker, and caregiver. So ayun po siya. Assembler po sir, meron po ba? Currently wala po kaming assembler po eh. F&B, food and beverage po. Ano po, you're eligible to work or to go with food service worker. Pwede po yun. Ayan. I'm graduate BSED major in Fishery Technology kasama ng fish processing and seafood. So ayun sir, email ka lang sa amin ng iyong resume and yes, you're eligible to apply on that specific position. Ayan. Pwede po ba mag-apply pag dito galing sa Taiwan? The answer po is yes. You can apply kahit po nasa country kahit kayo. Why? Kasi we process po kahit sa country. Kahit nasa Taiwan, Japan. And to give you an idea, marami kami clients sa Japan na po. So cross-country yung nangyayari po. So from Japan to Canada, pwede po yun. So pinaprocess po namin yung documents dito and after that, yan. Pag na-approve na po, ipad na po siya Japan to Canada or Taiwan to Canada. Ganun. For farmer po, wala po kami currently farmer po na available po. So sige po, feed lang po kayo ng food service po, yes po. Ito po, i-flash ko lang po ulit sa for the sake ng mga bagong pumapasok po, flash ko lang po ulit ang aming available work po. Ayan. We have the food service worker, we have the fish processor, production line worker, and caregiver package. Ayan. So, ayan po. So currently, ang dami pong nagtatype. So hindi ko na may isa-isa yung mga comments. Pero ayan, for the last time po, I'll be flashing kung ano nga po yung mga available work po namin. And sa mga hindi po makakabot, pasensya na kasi currently, sobrang flooded na po ng aming chat box. So, hindi ko na po masasagot lahat ng aming ng lahat ng queries po. Pero for the last time, ang available po namin work is we have the food service worker, we have the fish processor, we have the production line worker, and lastly, we have the caregiver po. And ayan, babalik ko na lang po ulit sa email namin. Though I know nakapin comments dito, however, sa mga bagong pumapasok kasi baka hindi nyo mapansin siya. Pero ito, I'll flash it na lang po. So, ayan. Our email address as assessment is assessment@romancis.ca po. So, ayan. To know more about kung magkano nga ba yung possible cost na abutin, eligible nga ba sila mag-apply, ano nga po ba yung available na work pa sa mga bagong pumapasok, mag-send lang po kayo ng detailed or updated resume sa assessment@romancis.ca and I'll try to answer all your emails po today din po. So, ayun po. Ma'am, hello. Hello. Sa TikTok yung name. Send na lang po kayo ng detailed resume sa amin, ma'am, para ma-assess ko if you're eligible in that specific position po, ha? So, pasensya na po sa mga hindi ko nabasang comments kasi technically super dami po ng comments nyo. So, for the last time, sorry for the last time na talaga, bibigay ko lang sa inyo yung mga available work namin. We have the food service worker, fish processor, production line worker, and the caregiver pathway. So yun yung mga readily available na work. However, sa caregiver pathway, we don't have readily available employer. So we need you to look for your employer first. So ayun po. So yung visa, may denial po ba? Of course, sir. Even na i-apply po natin is direct work in Canada, sabihin natin, sir, I'm well documented, may contract ako, may LMIA ako, possible pa rin po ba ma-deny yung application namin? The answer po is yes. So, kaya in our part, minimake sure namin na wala tayong namimiss na possible na pwedeng reason kung bakit ma-deny yung application natin. So, on our part, we will make sure na 100% smooth yung magiging application niyo po for the temporary foreign worker in Canada. Because, yes po, may denial at denial pa rin po if ever na hindi convince si immigration officer sa profile niyo po. So, ayun po siya. Di ko po makita ang Gmail nyo. Ayan po. assessment@romancis.ca. So, it's not a Gmail. So, ayun po siya. Ayun po yung email namin. Age limit, we don't have any age limit po in Canada in any pathway. However, that might be a factor on your application in Canada because definitely sa age kasi, for example, you're 50 plus na or let's say you're 55 years old. So, once na tinanggap kayo ni Canada, 5 years na lang, definitely you're on your senior age and kumbaga retirement age na din siya. So, hindi na ganon magiging, to give you an idea talagang, pangit man yung term pero hindi na magiging talagang magiging pakinabang sa Canada. Let's say you're on your senior years na dahil syempre you will be retiring na din sooner. So, ayun. Ilang months naman yung processing. For the processing po, definitely, it could take, as I mentioned a while ago, it could take at least a year po. So, kung bakit a year siya, siguro I can discuss it privately kasi maraming factor na kailangan i-consider po it. Sir, papasa po ang resume, wala po lumalabas pag nilagay yung Gmail nyo. Sir, baka lang may na-miss ka na letter. Kasi technically, maraming nagsisend ng resume sa amin kung mapasok naman yung resumes po nila. Meron po ba kayo ipoprovide na lawyer for visa application para tumulong sa legal battle? Before answering it, sir, we need to know kung ano nga po ba yung application nyo. Is it student pathway ba na na-deny tayo and we will file for the lawyer, something like that. So, kailangan malaman po muna namin ang inyong history ng application nyo po sa amin. Pwede po mag-apply galing Pinas? Yes po, of course. May gagastusin po ba like placement fee yan? To know more about it, kung magkano nga po ba yung possible processing fee namin and everything, please do send your updated resume and assessment at romancis.ca para ma-assess namin if you're eligible na on that specific position po. Ano pong work ang pwede applyan? So, ayan. I think bagong pasok lang si Sir. However, ayun, we have food service worker, fish processor, production line worker po. Sir, kapag po expire ng passport, nagpo-provide po ba kayo or ng agency na magpo-process for the passport po ba yan? Kung expire yung passport niyo po, ma'am, definitely you need to get na bagong passport. Hindi po namin mapoprocess na po yung passport niyo. Kaka-join lang, what country po ito? So currently, we're looking for food service worker, fish processor, production line worker bound to Canada, specifically in British Columbia po. Ito, good question to from the viewers from TikTok. Mas mabilis po ba ang processing pag nasa ibang country? The answer to is yes.
Kasi we don't need to process po yung sa POEA po. Kasi if ever na you're nasa Philippines po kayo, definitely kailangan ayusin pa po natin siya. So if nasa ibang country na kayo, mas mabilis po yung possible maging processing po natin. Meron po bang housekeeping for Canada? We don't have po. Sir, may hiring po ba trailer truck driver sa Canada? We don't have available employer for the driver of a trailer truck po in Canada. IT jobs, wala rin po. Ayan. Good question. Wala na po bang refund kung na-deny yung visa application? Ito po. On our company po, if ever na ma-deny po yung unang application niyo po, we have unlimited relodging or submitting. Pero wala na po kayong babayaran sa amin. However, ang babayaran niyo is the government fee sa immigration po ni Canada kasi definitely may fee po sila kung sasubmit ulit tayo ng application. However, sa amin naman, unlimited relodging po siya. So you don't need to pay anything po sa amin. BS, BA, FM. So, sir, pasensya na. With regarding sa course mo, hindi ko masyadong alam. However, marami naman pong available na course. Kung course po yung gusto, kung mag-student pathway po kayo, definitely. Maraming courses in Canada na pwede or programs po in Canada na pwede po sa inyo. Need po ba with experience? Yes po. How about the pharmacy related? So for the pharmacist po or pharmacy related, wala po kaming available job for it. However, if you want to become a student pathway and you want to become a pharmacist in Canada, pwede kayo mag-take ng pharmacy technician course. Tumatanggap po ba kayo ng ALS? Yes, sir. If ever na you're high school graduate, you're ALS graduate, na may experience ka, yes. Food and beverage, yun po ba yun? Manager. Okay. So, yan. Siguro, ayan po, pharmacy related. Ayun, for direct work in pharmacy, as I mentioned, wala po. However, if you want to become a student in Canada and gusto nyo related sa pharmacy course, definitely pwede. For placement fee, wala kaming placement fee. However, we have a service fee on the service na gagawin namin on your part. Kung magkano siya, please do send your resume and assessment at romancis.ca para malaman namin if you're eligible on that specific position. Barista, yes po, pasok po kayo sa food service worker. For cleaner, warehouse worker, no po. Sir, passport pa lang meron ako, pwede po ba? Opo, of course. Basta you're eligible on that said position po, pwede. Yes po, pwede po kayong mag-work as flash on the screen kanina, at least high school graduate lang po in Canada. You're eligible to apply na po for the direct work. Customer service po, wala po. May specific po ba na hospital sa medical? Yes po. For the medical po natin, kung taga Manila area po kayo or taga Batangas area, taga South po kayo, pinakamalapit na po natin will be on St. Luke's na po in Makati. And kung nasa parting north naman po, Baguio City, meron din po sa Baguio. And sa mga Visayas region po, I think sa Cebu meron din. Ma'am, sa Davao, ano po ibig sabihin? Medical po ba to? Kung sa Davao po, I don't know kung meron sila. Ang alam ko kasi sa Cebu lang po yung meron sa parting Visayas po. So ayan, pasensya na po sa mga bagong pasok sa aming live. So technically kasi, yung mga question dito, nasagot na po natin kanina. However, to know more about it, siguro you can send your detailed resume na lang dito sa assessment@romancis.ca. Kasi I'll try to assess all your resume po kung gaano kadami. Siguro depende kung gaano kadami yung nag-send. However, malalaman nyo naman po if you're eligible on that specific position po once na nag-reply po ako sa inyo. Ayan. Sa mga nag-send mo na application nila, thank you so much po and I'll assess your email po later. So, ayun po, thank you so much po. Study while work, sir. Yes po, of course, meron pong study while working in Canada. And to give you an idea, student pathways, fastest pathway going to Canada. You're eligible to work for 20 hours during your being a student. However, pag nakagraduate tayo, you can work full-time na po. Kung gaano katagal, it depends on your program kung gaano din katagal. Let's say your program is 1 year, the working permit eligible for you is 1 year then. However, if you want to study in Canada for 2 years, the working permit na mabibigay po sa inyo could be 3 years po. So, ayun po siya. Yes, sir. We're located here at Lipa City, Batangas po, Sir Chad. So if you want to visit us, located lang kami dito sa May Tambok, Barangay Sico, Lipa City, Batangas. So we're open from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. po. Ayan. Siguro I'll be ending our live na dahil technically paulit-ulit tayo sa question na. As I mentioned, to know more about this, you can send your detailed resume at assessment@romancis. And thank you so much sa lahat po na nag-join and nag-participate. And during our pag-start ng live to finish po, yun sila yung nakabasa. So ayan, thank you so much po. Pasensya na sa mga hindi ko nasagot na question. Siguro, please follow us on our social media accounts, especially here in TikTok. Kasi every month, we have 2 webinars about the temporary foreign worker and the student pathway. So to know more about the best pathway for you, please do follow us on our TikTok account po para at least updated po kayo sa mga happenings sa every pathway na available po and every work na available po sa amin. So thank you so much for all the viewers, sa lahat na nag-send ng resume po sa amin. I'll try to answer all the emails po. And after that, if you're eligible, I'll call you one by one po. So thank you so much everyone and have a great day po. And ayun, see you on our emails po para at least doon po tayo mag-usap directly para mas malaman natin further kung paano mag-asikaso ng all the documents necessary for migrating to Canada. So have a good day everyone. Thank you so much po.